part 3. It's part 3. What up, YouTube? It's your boy Riz Ill, and I'm back on the channel with another Ill Reacts. And today we are going to do another Dr. Phil interviews Jeffrey Dahmer's father, or more specifically Jeffrey Dahmer's parents. We're going to do the part 2. I said with some videos and stories, if they get enough interest, I'll do a follow-up. So today we're going to be looking at that, the part 2 of it. And it's more specifically like Dr. Phil interviews Jeffrey Dahmer's parents, right? Jeffrey Dahmer's parents, because it's not just Jeffrey Dahmer's father, it's like his stepmom is over there. And like I think his stepmom was more involved in his life more than his actual mother. From what I saw in the series, his stepmom seemed to be, or maybe maybe I'm wrong. From what the series showed me, she seemed to be more of a mother figure going into it than Jeffrey Dahmer's mother, who didn't seem to be interested in her son in any way or whatever. But fuck it, if I get in trouble for what I just said, it's just what I saw in the series. The series misled me about your parenting abilities. So we're just gonna get straight to it and see the part 2 of what Dr. Phil was interviewing them about and what was said and etc., and go further deep into this crazy ass story.
Have you spoken to any of the families of his victims?
We've spoken to several, but there was only one that we've become very close friends with, the sister of one of the victims. And to this day, we remain good friends with her.
If those families are watching this now on television, is there anything you want to say to them, either from you or on Jeff's behalf?
Well, I'm extremely, very, very sorry that it happened to their loved ones. And if I could have done anything to prevent it, I would have. And I would ask them to forgive Jeff for what he did. He's paid the price, I believe, now. That doesn't lessen their hurt, but ask their forgiveness. Like Teresa said to me, Lionel, I forgive. When he was murdered, Teresa said to me, Lionel, I forgive Jeff.
Do you forgive him?
Yeah, I forgive him now. I mean, it's really horrible to think of, to try to keep thinking of all the things he did, but even though he did all these horrible things, we forgive St. Paul for all the people that he killed in the name of God, in the name of Judaism. He was forgiven completely. And so if God can forgive, which is demonstrated in the scriptures, if God can certainly forgive St. Paul, the teaching is, of course, that anyone can be forgiven.
How about Lionel? Do you forgive him for his shortcomings in this drama and tragedy?
I'm not sure. I guess I was a little bit naive. I didn't think enough about, I was concentrating too much out of the premise that everything right with the spouse would automatically cause things to fall in place with the family. I just wish I had been I had a little bit more smarts to feel that I should be putting some of that effort with my son.
First, he is right. If anyone knows the Bible itself, Apostle Paul or St. Paul or whoever you know him as, he was a straight killer, bro. He was on one, bro. He was a genocidal maniac, if I may go that far. Like, he was tasked, he asked for the task, and he was dedicated to killing Christians, just slaughtering Christians before he was hit on the road to Damascus with the light of God and blinded, and then like delivered from his evil and all his sins. So that's one. And two, he is right, bro. Like, sometimes just because things are going well in the household doesn't mean like your kid is gonna end up okay. You know what I'm saying? Just because your relationship or your marriage is going well doesn't mean your kid is gonna end up okay. Same with like if like things are going bad in the household and like the parents their relationship is like bad doesn't mean the kid is gonna end up bad. The statistics it's in statistically wise, you have a higher percentage of being fucked up if shit isn't right at home. But that doesn't mean it'll happen. Like me, shit wasn't right at home always. Doesn't mean shit ended up fucked up. Doesn't mean I ended up like messed up in the head. Same with Jeffrey Dahmer or whatever. But wait, but what is he talking about though? Because like from what I saw in the series, it's like him and his first wife had a tumultuous relationship. You know. But if you were to pretend and just say like everything was right in the household, then it depends, dog. It depends. Jeffrey Dahmer seemed like a different animal to deal with by himself. I'm not sure what's happening over here, but let's continue. I'm a little bit confused.
Do you think, in retrospect, that there were red flags, there were warning signs that you missed?
There definitely were warning signs that I missed, but
You put the warning signs. You crazy.
I didn't believe it, or it's hard to believe. It really is. I'll give you one example. When he was about somewhere in the 11, 12 to 14 age range, he roamed around the country roads where we lived and gathered on his bike with big plastic bags the remains of various animals, foxes, small dogs, animals that had been killed on the road, and took them back home. And ours was extremely heavily wooded lot of very rough terrain, where he did, as I found out later, at the time of his so-called insanity trial, found out for the first time there that he did this. And he kept these animals and felt them, explored them, their insides, their entrails, and terrible things like that. Although I've had friends who have told me they've done the same sort of thing. But that would have been a red flag. This shows Jeff at a very...
But would it have been a red flag? Like, how do you really know, bro? Like, a lot of people are saying, like, oh, he did this and he did that, and, like, it should have been a sign, but how do you really know? Because I'm sure there's been people who have done that same thing, and it's just been because they were interested in, like, anatomy or something, or on their way to be a doctor. I heard, like, even Jeff, his father, from the series or whatever, his father even encouraged him to go into the medical arts or into the medical field because of his interest in anatomy and biology and all of that. But his depression, whatever he was going through mentally, and alcoholism led to him flunking out of those things, you know. But you can't really say he would have ended up okay if without the depression and alcohol, if he just ended up succeeding in that field, maybe it would have been more dangerous. Because look at Ted Bundy. You know, Ted Bundy was a bit of a professional in his field. Not in the same, like, field, but, like, you know, he seemed perfect outside, but inside, he was... You never know, dog. It's a toss-up, man. It's a toss-up, guys. You really never know how it's gonna end up. Don't start looking at your kids like, he's collecting dead animal parts and shit. He's gonna be a serial killer. Because it's something to check on and discourage, but... You never really know. We can't really blame this dude. And people are always acting like this dude, from what I've seen from the case and everything and this story, that it's this dude's fault for doing 1, 2, 3. Meanwhile, people have almost the same upbringing all the time, where the father is teaching them how to shoot, how to hunt, how to do all these different things that in some parts of the world or in most parts of the world is considered like manly or whatever. Even in like one of my relatives' household, or maybe multiple even. It's not just one. It's just that I ended up living with one. My uncle was teaching like every single one of us who was there how to slaughter like chickens and whatever, and to like gut them and to do all these things. And it's like basic farm life, you know. And we're taught to do all these things and to kill in this way and that way and stuff, but that doesn't mean like we're gonna end up as like serial killers and shit. It's just that, you know, it's a toss up, bro. It really is.
Very early age. He had such a sweet disposition, sweet baby breath, and he was always happy. Christmas time was always a very happy time. It was a time when there were no real arguments. Jeff was always happy at Christmas time because there was a lot of things to eat. Easter was always important to him because he got his chocolate bunny. Thanksgiving was always spent with my family, and there was always a lot of love and attention given to Jeff.
I can't see him putting shit in his mouth and acting all playful. It's not babyish to me. It would have been cute and whatever if, like, you know, if that was just a normal kid. But then when you look at that kid doing that stuff in those, like, home videos, and then you realize this kid is gonna grow up to, like, just do some crazy shit to people and eating them and stuff like that. You, like, it doesn't seem so sweet, does it? You start looking at that kid like, It's like going back in time before Thanos came to Earth and snapped his fingers. You know what I'm saying? It's like, Thanos, you kinda, but I know what you are, Thanos.
Yeah. Jeff would always run towards me and jump in my arms. I would frequently carry Jeff on my shoulders or ride around on the handlebars of my bicycle. At this point, he's less than 7 years old, and he didn't go into his period of shyness until that point. Jeff, Dave, and his mother were happy, and I was happy that Jeff liked him and accepted him. Well, they were 7 years apart, so I wouldn't say that they were extremely close in interests, but they did things together. Jeff really loved Frisky. He just loved the way Frisky paid attention to him and licked him and romped around with him. Jeff always had an interest in nature. He was very inquisitive. He liked biology class in school, and we did several things together for science fair.
Is it normal for a kid to be that, like, that's okay with carrying around dead animals and dead things? I don't know. Like, when you come to a certain, because, like, I know in terms of, like, depending on age, like, when you're younger, you fear less because you don't really know about the world, so you don't know what to fear. You know what I'm saying? Things are new to you. But then as you grow up, you start realizing, okay, this is considered, like, something to be scared of. This one, it looks like something to be scared of, and you know. So with age, it comes with a certain uncomfortableness with certain things that relates to, like, things that have to do with, like, the dark, like death. You know what I'm saying? Like, stuff like that. So seeing him carrying something that's dead and stuff, it's just so easily and happily, like, it seems kind of. But maybe it's my mind influencing me, telling me that's Jeff Dahmer as a young kid, and he's about to do some fucked up shit, bro. Like, shit.
This is at Grandma Dahmer's house.
He loved his grandmother dearly.
Yeah.
He knew it was unconditional love.
Yeah.
Grandma never judged anything. He was just loved.
Packed his lunch when he went to work, when he was staying with her in Milwaukee. Made dinner for him. Was always concerned about everything he did. Jeff did a lot of riding on his bike on the rural roads. That's the bicycle that we learned that he had used with big plastic bags to travel around the rural roads to pick up roadkill. He was 12 to 14 years old. A happy little boy. And yet this was when he was 12 years old. So it was sort of at the beginning of this strange association between roadkill and his sexual urges. things were forming in his mind that you can't see just by looking at a picture. He looks like a happy youth there.
Do you have a story or a question for me? Click the...
That shit always gets me. Even in the other video, it got me. Like, okay, you start feeling like certain feelings sexually. They start awakening as you reach what? Is it adolescence, puberty, whatever? For me, I remember it. Like, I've had a conversation like this with someone where I was like, it was a woman, and I was like, you women don't understand what puberty is like for guys, because when you hit puberty for a guy, honestly, if I can compare it to anything, it's like being turned into a vampire for the first time. Like the first time experiencing bloodlust and from books and shit. I don't want people to start hearing this and start thinking, Jeff Drama now he's talking about vampire. Calm down. But like, back to it. It's like your first experience with bloodlust, you don't know how to control it. So you have to learn how to control it as time goes by. So literally, when you hit puberty, you literally want to fuck everything that walks. It doesn't register to you that even like in terms of looking at girls the same way, it's not the same as the women that you see on TV, you know? Those are women, they're developed, they have flourished, they have become, you know? The girls around you in 7th grade and whatever, even though there was a girl in 6th grade, she had already like started growing, like she had big boobs, bro. I wonder what happened to her, but like the rest of them, they hadn't really developed like that yet. Their bodies weren't there yet. But we guys, we've already started like going through the change. So now we're thinking of them in a certain way without thinking logically and whatever. You know what I'm saying? So it's a wild time. You have no control of everything. You wanna fuck everything. You start masturbating or something. You masturbate damn near everywhere. You don't even know. Hey, bro, it's a wild time. Hitting puberty for the first time. So I remember, but it was always related to women. Always. It wasn't related to animals. It wasn't related to squirrels or whatever. It was always related to women. Women. I started off with tits. I moved to ass, but it was always women, bro. In every aspect of the word. This shit of like hitting like puberty and all of that, and starting to even look at animals sexually, studying their private parts and shit, that I can't help you with, guy. I've tried to help you in terms of saying, you never know with other things, you know, because you never know due to life experience. But that, my guy, I haven't experienced that in life at all, and I don't know what's going on over here, but I wish you luck in hell. I wish you luck in hell. But that's been me for my reaction video. Like, comment, subscribe, hit the post notifications. I don't think there's a part 3 to this. I think after this, it's pretty much you have to go and see like the entire interview. I don't know. It'll take like a lot of attention on this reaction video for me to do like parts of the entire interview. But I don't put too much stress on it. Do whatever you want. Shit, man. Take care. Take care. Have a good time, guys.